Of achievements. If the Rapture was tomorrow, he could die happy. Instead, he has to wait a couple more months for that. But here we go on Daybreak, one of the zergiest maps in our map pool, I would say. Let me go ahead and pull up some statistics. I'm stealing stuff from Ben's balance sheet. But on Daybreak for PVZ, we have 11 of them so far, and there's a 27% win rate
for Protoss.
For Protoss.
27% of Protosses that's faced off against Zerg on this map
in NASL
came out a lot in NASL.
27.27.
All right, so guys, a little bit of early banter between these two players, but smiley faces makes it okay, right? Is that what we're taught online in terms of manners? Like, as long as you tag a smiley face at the end, it's okay.
Yes.
No, that is not okay.
No,
I'm letting everyone know that kind of BMs me. They like say something really mean, put a smiley face at the end as if it's supposed to be something nice.
But Naniwa put the smiley face there. I thought it was okay. Him and Husky are cool now.
Naniwa is not the person you want to learn your online manners from.
Oh, gosh. Well, I guess I'll go back to chat roulette for all of my manners.
Oh man, or Omegle, but don't do that, guys. Stay around and watch some StarCraft too.
My producer's saying no.
Over in the top right corner from Team Evil Genius's raid call, it is Stephano, the most successful European and non-Korean player this year. In fact, I still believe he is, as of right now, the winningest player in 2012, unless MC's third place in OSL has put him over in terms of prize pool money. Stephano has been doing so well, just winning WCS, winning Lone Star, doing very well, and winning NASL, of course. The rating champion, how can you bet against this guy? I wonder how many points people have bet on Stephano against Nightend, because everyone wants the hardest one beta key.
Yeah, and Stephano is the sure bet. I think we need to start implementing odds.
I really do. But the thing is, you're not betting against other people, you're betting against the system. That's very specific about it. Odds are coming soon, though, as well as a lot of cool unannounced features to chat and trivia or chat stuff. I wanted to do one cool thing, like a trivia thing, like every few minutes you kind of release like one random trivia fact, and maybe you can earn a couple points like here and there. This is a fun way.
That would be awesome.
And that's just to keep you guys interactive. Let us know what you guys think in chat of everything. It's just a fun way.
Gotta be careful though. The chat. Let me tell you, after all the matches, they're getting spammed like crazy, or even before that. It's just like
yesterday in the chat, I was like, how many of you are going to bet on Sheth? And everyone's, yeah, I love Sheth. Sheth's a great guy, one of my favorite players. Bet 500 in MC. It's like, so yeah, you know, I've been watching Sheth stream so much. He inspired so much of my ZVP. All in on MC. I'm like, wow, you guys really have no faith in one of your favorite players. I'm like, yeah, man, Sheth's the best. Bet 10 on MC.
So yeah, man.
And I'm like, I hashtag bet on Sheth, and Sheth won. So you know what?
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, I immediately thanked him on Twitter. Not thanked him, congratulated him on Twitter.
Sheth plays very well.
Yeah, man. He's doing great.
Well,
anyway, Frodan, what do we have so far in this game?
Well, we haven't even introduced the player in the bottom left either. We have from Team Fnatic, Fnatic raid call as well. It is Nightend. Nightend, a player that's been practicing very hard under the radar. He doesn't have a lot of publicity in training in Korea compared to other players, but he has been going to lots of more European tournaments. Now, Nightend very famously has defeated Taja in a straight-up PvT very recently, and that's what a lot of people have been saying. Nightend underrated. He's still a good player, and I completely agree. And that's all pretty much I want to say about that.
Yeah. I've seen him more so do robotics and Stargate openings rather than going for Twilight Council openings. I know that he's not a big all-inner. He likes to play the passive mode. He likes to go into macro. He likes to actually have those large armies. So I'm actually anticipating that a little bit, although I don't want to cut out Twilight Council altogether because I still feel like mixing it in there is very important. But that being said, I mean, what is he going to do against, of all people, Stephano, who is probably the best person to actually hold an all-in? I'm pretty sure he's probably going to try to be a little bit more abusive and take his third base pretty early, but when is that going to be? He needs to do it. Against a player like Stephano, you do not want to be trying to pressure up on him because he defends like everything easily.
Yes, Stephano is just one of those players that just has so much situational awareness. There's a show, Archer, on FX Networks called Archer, where it's a spy show, and it just shows how Archer is the best spy in the world, and just the reason why is because in any situation he can handle himself and somehow get himself out of the stickiest situations. And it's a comedy show, and I think it's one of the funniest shows that I've ever watched. And I feel like Stephano is a lot like Archer, not just of how irresponsible he can be with life decisions, but also because he is really good at just no matter what's thrown at him, he seems to be able to get his way out and dominate. It's his engagements, it's his ability to handle any kind of army that's thrown at him, even if it seems like the odds are against him. As long as he has a pack of roaches and maybe a couple infestors, he's good. Sure.
That's an awesome way to actually describe him. But yeah, I mean, Stephano, for some reason, you always see him in these highlight reels of looking like he's dead. Like he has his ramp completely force fielded off. He has no way to actually get any units. He has no units. And all of a sudden, like, for some reason, he's able to wiggle out, stay alive a lot longer than normal Protoss, or excuse me, normal Zergs. And then he ends up winning the game. And it's like, you are a wizard. There's no reasonable way why you should be winning these situations, but every single time he does. So here we go. A little bit of pressure here. Good force field should be able to defend against this, actually. Yeah. It seems really, really silly, but...
Will he be able to force to cancel, or...?
Probably not. I would have said yes if the Nexus just went up, but realistically, there's just way, way too much HP into that Nexus for him to be able to do that. So, job well done by Nightend, by the way, and he's been able to get his Nexus up pretty fast. On top of that, these Zerglings are really out of place now because they can't really pressure, and they aren't drones. So that means Stephano's economy is slightly smaller than it should be.
Yeah, this is because the third is so fast. You know, Stephano wasn't necessarily expecting this quick, and the composition Zealot Sentry is very strong against this kind of Zergling run by. Now Stephano is transitioning to his infestation pit and getting double upgrades, but he's also getting Roach speed, so he's going to go for a mixture of Roachling Infestor, which is really cool, you know, not just sticking by standard Roach composition. And I like more early Zerglings in ZVP because a lot of people realize they can squeeze out Infestor techs so quick, and Infestors, man, that's just the flavor of the month. That's just what's been that's been when be able to get wins, get the W's.
They are the W's. You know, it's really awesome that we're seeing Hallucination coming out from Nightend. This is coming in at a timing where Nightend is trying to figure out his opponent's tech. The Colossus tech is kind of scary for Nightend because he doesn't know, am I going up against mutas? He only saw Zerglings so far, so it's a very large possibility that there's a huge muta switch around 12 to 13 minutes in here. So that's what his main concern is. Do I have to actually prepare for going to High Templars, or do I actually have to just go Colossus and take my fourth that way? And that's really important because he actually went in Robotics Bay and Twilight Council at the same time. Now you can argue Twilight Council for the additional upgrades in Blink, but I think the main reason why you get the Twilight Council is just to say, if I need to, I can go to the Templar Archives really easily and defend against any muta play, rather than another option would have been to go Robotics Facility yet again, get 2 of them, and prepare for this huge 4 Colossus or 5 Colossus push.
Yeah, Stephano immediately scouts the Robotics Bay and drops his own Spire while teching to Hive. Oh, wow. Really aggressive with his tech. Now has Infestors out and also going to start planting down Spine Cars. We've been seeing this more, and it's almost a standard now in ZVP where you just pretty much rush for the center base on Daybreak and just start turtling and just accrue energy, get Spine Cars up, make sure that they can't push into you, and when they do, you just fungal them, and Spine Crawler Infestors is enough to hold.
Sorry, just make it as uncomfortable as possible for Protoss to really attack into a position. Do you really want to be putting all of your units in the bottom right-hand corner and then pushing up into here? I mean, sometimes you're able to flank your opponent's army, but for the most part, what ends up happening is you just put your army into a terrible position, and then you offer the Zerg counterattack potentials, and they can actually cut off your way to retreat. So that's a big problem. Stephano massing up in a ton of units. I like what he's doing over here. People might not know why he's actually grouping all of his units in the top left-hand corner. It's to actually have some sort of counter-attacking threat. That way, if a fourth goes down and at the same time there's some sort of push, you can go ahead, attack the third, or even attack the fourth that's coming up here, and then just get back to defend.
Stephano needed to also throw away a little bit of his Zerglings so he can squeeze out some Corruptors. Does manage to also get his Greater Spire started. So Stephano really rushing again for that tech allows him to be pretty sturdy. Now, again, Broodlords on this map are just so strong just because, not just for the defensive, but because you can push down the center slowly. And Stephano's also spreading his creep down both paths, so he has those options flexible to him. Nightend taking this extremely slow, taking his 4th base in the center.
Well, he's going to do all-out aggression pretty soon. We have 2 War Prisms on the map. These are going to float around the map as well. Not only that, this is a highly indicative of something that's going to be really, really heavily pressured. We can see he's getting the Dark Shrine instead of going the Stargate and, of course, the Mothership thereafter. And that's going to be at the expense of this one attack. Now, Stephano's coming in from 3 different sides, and this could be really, really good, but the Zerglings on the bottom actually come in a little bit earlier.
Does it even really matter, Andre? Because the Infestors also get the Fungals off, and now the Corruptors just deal with the Colossus immediately. The Colossus wasn't even really be able to focus fire because the AoE was not centered around the unit. Stephano crushing the Protoss army, timing it so that the 4th base is not going to be able to be secured, although Stephano did lose several of his Infestors, and Nightend seems to be able to stabilize. A lot of the gas-intensive units from Protoss has been traded.
Yeah, that's actually really nice for Stephano. Can he actually get this Nexus 6? Yes, he will. Nice. The last remaining infested Terran is going to go ahead and sweep that up. You know, it really messes up a lot of Nightend's push here. Now, what he's supposed to do is actually push out, get all these units in the middle, and then, you know, harassing the top, harassing the bottom with these 2 War Prisms, but he's not able to do that. Now there's a moment in passivity where Broodlords can come out, and Stephano is so far ahead because of that. If Nightend was slightly positioned backwards, maybe over here or even over here, and he was able to force field out all those Zerglings and really just focus on killing those Corruptors, it would have been a much different story that game, Frodan. But now as we have it, I mean, there's just way too many Broodlords. The Infestor count is there. It's not high, but for 17 minutes into the game, we're looking really, really good in favor of Stephano.
And Stephano is just, he's now starting to, he already has an intimidating army, and he's now going to start the bank process. Although, again, he's not even giving time for Nightend to even recharge. He's got 1 Colossus, and Colossus is very important for dealing with the Zerglings and the Broodlords if you're even able to get into the position. Stephano kind of being just very, very bold with his units. Not even really afraid of any kind of blink underneath the tower, but he does also have his Infestors ready to guard anytime. Nightend has to back off, give up this 4th, at least for now. Maybe strike at the most opportune time, but Stephano is also not giving him any room. Pulling back his Broodlords just in time. The Stalkers blink underneath. The Infestors are going to be able to lock everything down with Fungals, but is this enough damage from Nightend?
It doesn't matter. Stephano is so far ahead from this trade because remember, he has 5 bases. Denying the 4th base is actually gigantic. And even though he walks out of there with all of his Zerglings dead and his Broodlords about to die pretty soon, the fact of the matter is these trades are just so poor for Nightend, to the point where when you're only on 3 bases, you can't reproduce that fast. You need probably 5-6 minutes just to get your bearings straight to be able to deal with another army. And now it looks like Stephano is maxing out again on Broodlords, but I feel like going over to something like Roach, Zergling Roach, would be very, very strong in this position. We can see there's no sentries in here, and when you're not having any sentries, Roaches are going to reign supreme. You don't have High Templars, you only have Colossus, but not a high count. You don't have Mothership out. Just go basic ground army and you're fine. But you know what? He's massing up in Zerglings, Corruptors, and Infestors yet again. We're going to see Stephano just rinse and repeat this and try to consistently deny this 4th base to just starve out Nightend in the war of attrition.
Yeah, now that Stephano's on 5 base, if he can continue to deny this 4th base, just like you said, the 6 gases from Protoss is really tough for Protoss to do anything other than 1 tech tree. Sure, you can get up Colossus maybe, but how can you really afford the Archons and the Mothership? Or conversely, maybe you get the Mothership out, but do you even have an army that can support it? You can see that Stephano's also starting to move towards the southern half of the map, really keeping his Zergling count high because he doesn't really have that much gas. Everything he's been reinvesting directly into the Broodlord count. Meanwhile, Stephano gets just stronger from this point as well because he's getting armor for his Broodlords or for his Flyer Carapace. And Nightend's +3 will be less and less effective. So I think Stephano's in a really nice spot still and just has to kind of do this methodically. Nice little Zergling flank to buy himself a little bit more time as he's getting more Broodlords out.
That's right, and all those Zerglings actually displaced Nightend's units quite considerably, and that's a big timing to actually deny the 4th.
Units.
Oh my gosh, he can actually focus down on the 4th base if he so chooses to. The Zerglings are just going to pop out from here because the rest of Nightend's forces are coming.
Oh, oh my goodness,
no
the
High Templars!
The High Templars valuable for Storm as well as for Archon morphing. And looks like Nightend will just have to keep playing zone defense. Stephano trying to run laps around his opponent, although I feel like Nightend defended that relatively well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Nightend didn't take considerable losses, but still his fourth base isn't really saturated. But here we go. Oh my gosh. Stephano is all over everything. He doesn't even have static defense over there. Immediately he sees that one War Prism coming out from the left-hand side, and he says, okay, I'm going to deal with it very, very easily. Zealot's going to try to trade out here. I agree with this decision. You can see Nightend is pretty close to being maxed, so he wants to get rid of these mineral-only units, but sometime or another you have to start attacking Nightend.
Ooh, well, he does have a Zealot run by as well as DTs in the main. And Stephano doesn't have detection there, so Stephano will lose things like his queen.
Look at this! Nightend doing it well. These Zealots offered just like a stopper until units can actually go to the top right, and in the meantime, the bottom right is being under attack. And this is going to go down. Stephano is actually getting picked apart over here, and Nightend is actually buying valuable time that he needs to work on his gas count in his army. Once he's able to actually get enough Blink Stalkers, enough High Templars, and of course, most of all, enough, well, a Mothership, he'll be in a great position.
Yeah, Stephano now going to have to continue to kill off some of these units, but meanwhile, Nightend's going to do the right thing and start cleaning up even more bases. Again, utilizing the fact that the Zerg is out of position to be able to capitalize, although it is a big investment. Lots of DTs did go into this, but it's been very effective. 2 bases and even killing off things like the spawning pool has severely delayed Stephano, not even really mining gas from his main anymore. And the sources of gas have been completely limited. Nightend's been doing this fantastically.
Oh yeah, and you know what? To be honest, Stephano's playing this very, very sloppy. I have to say, you kind of have to expect this after every major trade. Here we go again, Dark Templars and Zealots just wrecking havoc in the main base. We need those infestors. Where are the infestors? Oh no, they're not actually committing to this attack. And that is going to prove disaster for Stephano, as Nightend is just doing so much damage in the main over here. And I feel like all he has to do is clear out these Greater Spires and the Spires, and he's going to win this so easily.
Yeah, you can see that the +3, +2, +3 from Frotorp is very, very strong. And Dark Templars just do 60 damage per shot, so it's an incredible amount of DPS to be able to stake out these static defenses and from there just work onto the tech. Although Nightend not really focusing on anything. If he focused on the Greater Spire, maybe be able to get something, maybe the Infestation Pit. But now Stephano finally seems to have stabilized in his main at least, but more harassments also in the center expansion. Stephano's economy is in shambles. He's not really been able to get a steady income for a long time.
And now his third base is going to fall here, Frodan. Stephano's just getting picked apart. Nightend is looking like he's going to perform the upset here on Daybreak, which again, if you guys just tuned in, ZVP on this map in the NASL is a 27% win rate. That means out of every 4 matches, 1 of them is a Protoss win. And that's really, really bad for Nightend, obviously, as he has to fight an uphill battle. Now you can see the challenge that Nightend has had to face. We're 26 minutes in. This is his first Mothership, and it just came out. 70 energy on that. He can't confront the Broodlord army, so it's still a big problem. Stephano has had a snowballing advantage to this whole game, and it's been hard for Nightend to actually substantiate some sort of huge attack with Archons, with Stalkers, with Colossus, because he just doesn't have the material yet. But what he's done a great job at is buying time with these drops. These Warp Prisms have been beautiful, and Stephano, he's looking like he's going to start losing the lead in a couple of minutes here as this Mothership gains more and more energy, and Stephano really doesn't have the remaxing chance or even the maxing chance.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree, Andre. I think Nightend does have the lead because Stephano's on 1 base economy. His third is not really even up. His natural and main have been mined out, and Nightend now has the corner base, giving him a more steady form of income to be able to push out units. And he's also keeping some supply room flexible in case of the Warpins as well. Although, again, it's still tough to attack into Zerg, and that's where Stephano is going to be able to play his cards. He does have a Spine Crawl wall by his 4th base, and as long as he holds his center anchor spot, it's still difficult for Nightend to approach his army.
That's right. Here we go, another Warp Prism harass in the top right, gets picked off pretty easily. And Nightend is mobilizing. This is to draw units forward. It's not actually to put pressure on his opponent. You can see by the mothership still being there. But what he's trying to do is just pull Stephano completely out of position. You can see the Infestors, Corruptors, and Broodlords are not in the right place. Oh my gosh, and this Warp Prism might be able to get into a spot where it can warp in yet again and start doing damage on these Greater Spires. That would be instrumental in this game because plus 3/3 is just about to finish. And here we go.
The Warpin does get in, although Stephano does catch a bunch of those units with fungals.
Oh, no.
But I don't think he's be able to clean up the rest.
Go for plus 3/3. That'll be so huge. Plus 3 attack. It's just about 10 seconds away, but he's not focusing down on it.
He does transfuse on the Evolution Chamber upgrade, but again, both of them are dropping. Meanwhile, Nightend is also moving across the center of the map, as Stephano's been forced to pull almost all of his army to deal with everything.
He's going to use Recall instead of Vortex, Frodan. That's so crazy.
Very smart. That's very smart play.
So he's just doing ultimate harassment styles. He's not even trying to confront his opponent's army.
Ooh, he might not have a choice, though, if he gets a fungal.
If he gets feedbacks, though, oh, very nicely done with the feedbacks. He needs to be careful, and there it is. The recall comes up right before a single Colossus dies there. I love what we're seeing by Nightend here. This is awesome. He's even trading out some probes. And now what's going to happen is he can actually max out because he knows his opponent is just so tiny in terms of economy. He's going to continue, it looks like, this harassment all over the field. But what he needs to really be careful of is this army, of course. And, oh my god, Stephano, no! Oh wait, where's the mothership?
The mothership is, it's actually between the third and the fourth base. If he was able to catch the vortex on all his units.
He needs to start using his mothership. The problem is you can have Suicide Corruptors go in and just snipe out that mothership immediately. Just one fungal Suicide Corruptors, it forces the vortex, and then you have no other vortex to actually deal with these Broodlords. And in this count, it's so hard to actually confront a Zerg army.
The Zerg army is very big because the worker supply is very low. Stephano still has a very intimidating force.
Yeah.
And if Nightend loses it once, he doesn't even have time to really utilize his bank. Stephano just has to do this right, although he is low on Infestor energy. But he's really trying to engage. Remember, Stephano, the king of just that one-time engagement to swing it. Can Nightend continue to press his advantage all the way home? The fourth base is down for Nightend. He's now moving up to his fifth base. Stephano closing in, using the vice grip between his pincers. Can he be able to land the fungals or anything else? The Vortex does catch on some of the Infestors, and Stephano will have to force to engage with some of his Corruptors. The mothership does end up dropping, but does Nightend have enough? He's going to blink forward. That's a blink, but a lot of the Blues are protected, although they are storming. Half the Blues aren't even fighting from Stephano. They're fighting the probes.
Wow, that's a big blink under so many Broodlords. You know, I think it's too much, though. Stephano just has way too many Broodlords. You need that Vortex to land on the Broodlords to really stop the Broodling count that actually messes up all the Blink Stalkers quite substantially. And here we see Stephano pushing in here. Does he have enough, though? This is still really hard. I mean, as you can see, maybe not.
No,
it's 160 supply to 80
Nightend still has a good warp-in ready, and if Stephano's careless, I mean, we could have done anything. Nightend's... Oh, no, I feel his pain so much. There's a situation where it seems like Nightend was just in such a good position to win, but he's not able to do anything. Look at that, Stephano saying, you played very well. And you know what? At least Stephano is actually realistically. And no, a big blink! You know, Nightend trying to catch Stephano while he was typing, but it doesn't even matter. The fungal forcing the Stalkers to engage as Stephano's supply is still staying strong. GG, ... Stephano takes game number 1 on Daybreak, taking a 1-0 lead. The series is not over, but that is just a demoralizing loss, man. I would be on hyper tilt. I'd be it's like 3D pinball on Windows, man. I'd be so tilted, I can't do anything. Everything just freezes up. I'd be so mad. I'm staring at my computer screen like with my mouth open. I'm still shocked by that.
When Broodlord count is that high, you need 2 vortexes. So your timings for Zerg is when they don't have 2 vortexes. That's your timing. It's really difficult, no matter what. It's difficult in those positions. You see Protosses, pro gamers, all over the Twitter sphere just complaining about that one thing, how it's so hard to actually play against that late game army of Stephano. You saw Stephano was pretty considerably high in all game, right?
He was. Well, I mean, after he forced to cancel the fourth, he was good. But Nightend did great harassment, great presence everywhere. He sniped 4 hatcheries.
I know.
Like the bottom
fourth
right,
base, the
2
bottom
at the
right,
third.
2 at the third.
Even the way he even got the natural one time too. It was absolutely insane.
And it all shows you it's difficult, but you need those vortexes. I think that one recall was probably the most unnecessary recall you could possibly use.
I think it was a good idea, though. Don't you think, like, how he's just trying to make sure to snipe it and cripple Stephano's ability to remax. And from there, he needed to just buy enough time and get the money vortex.
I think it would have been good if Stephano didn't already have that death army. You know, like once they have so many broodlords.
They have 20 broodlords and like 17 infestors. I mean,
now, Frodan, I'm not saying that recall, the trade of a recall for a vortex would have won him the game. I'm just saying that maybe, just maybe.
I don't know what else to say to that, Andre. Let's go ahead and thank our sponsor, LA Byte, for delivery to thousands of places all over the LA and Orange County. Go to labyte.com and type in NASL for a promo code so you can have places and restaurants delivered to you, like California Pizza Kitchen, BJ's. You can get Pizookie. You can get all kinds of food, Thai, seafood, anything you want. labyte.com. We'll be back with game number 2 between Nightend and Stephano. Hopefully Nightend can find a solution. We'll see what happens right after this.